Do we know what we see, or do we see what we know? Realism or Reductionism by Perry Smith. Today, there are two very common views about the ontology of the world. One of the most common is called reductionism. It is an idea that all things are reduced to small particles or energy. Another is hyomorphism. Hyomorphism claims that all material things consist of matter and form. Hyomorphism is true for two reasons. One, because it gives us the best explanation to understand our findings in modern science. The second, it is extremely useful because through the knowledge attained through it, only through it, can we easily live our daily lives. A person who has knowledge of form and not quantity has a great knowledge of things of the external world. But a person who has knowledge of quantity without any knowledge of form ends up knowing nothing. The most common adhered to school of thought is reductionism. We learn it in school growing up. As a youth, we have the periodic table. We learn about the atom and the subatomic particles within it. However, we learn nothing about the Aristotelian idea of form. Rather, we are taught that things such as color are nothing more than different wavelengths of light, and sound is nothing more than a vibration. One of the key people who are associated with the origins of reductionism is Isaac Newton. Through Isaac Newton's new look at ontology and his emphasis on quantity, he was able to make very accurate predictions. This led to many people adhering to his ontological beliefs. Though his research in physics, which allowed him to know many different things, certainly contains much truth, it does not guarantee the validity of his beliefs regarding ontology. From his foundation, we see much of modern physics. It has led to the ability to perfectly predict projectiles with extreme precision. It is through his research that we were able to send people to the moon and move a single atom in an accelerator. From Isaac Newton came the view that all things are reducible to the physical reaction of particles. This, in turn, generated the modern understanding of the atom. In modern science, we learn that the only difference between one element or molecule from another is not form or quality. It is a matter of quantity, or the atomic number that differentiates. Even the variations among different types of water, such as liquid or gas, has to do with quantitative changes, such as the distances of the electrons and neutrons from each other. However, there is no immaterial thing that gives one thing its being. This means that the concept and idea we have of water, gold, or oxygen is not a real thing, but something simply formed in the mind. This new philosophy has drastic changes on how we interact with the external world. For we no longer see the green grass, whether we see the grass and project greenness upon it. For greenness is not in the grass itself. Greenness itself does not exist, whether it is light that hits the grass and comes back at a specific wavelength. This wavelength is then interpreted as green in our mind. We also do not hear sound, for sound is not something that exists in the object. Rather, sound is simply a vibration. Different vibrations are then turned into different pitches by our mind. Things that were once understood as gold, water, are not really different in quality. Rather, the only thing that separates gold from water is the number of particles in them. Scientists would say it's the number of protons that separates gold from silver. Nothing more. There is no form or qualitative difference. In this new system, the external world doesn't really exist. It's simply a projection made up in my mind. Man's view of reality is ultimately a lie. What he sees is not really there. The ultimate truth, the things that are the quantitative location of particles.